If your knees ache getting out of bed, if your hands feel stiff in the morning, if climbing stairs hurts more than it used to. Ancient healers had specific remedies for this long before modern pain relief existed, and some of the most respected biblical treatments for joint pain quietly disappeared from everyday life. Not because they stopped working, because the system around them disappeared. Today, we're uncovering the biblical remedies ancient healers actually used for swollen joints, stiffness, and inflammation, how they prepared them, and why modern science is beginning to understand what people observed thousands of years ago.
Joint pain feels like a modern epidemic. Aching hips, swollen fingers, stiff knees, lower back pain after sitting too long, shoulders that tighten with age, and for many people, especially later in life, it slowly becomes part of everyday routine. But ancient people dealt with these same problems thousands of years ago. They simply understood them differently. In many ancient cultures surrounding biblical life, pain and swelling were often described as heat inside the body, irritation in the joints, imbalance within the system itself. And instead of isolating one symptom at a time, they approached healing through patterns. Food mattered, movement mattered, sleep mattered, oils mattered, circulation mattered, daily rhythms mattered. That's one of the biggest differences between ancient healing systems and modern behavior. Today, most people wait until pain becomes unbearable before doing anything consistently. But ancient cultures often built supportive practices into everyday life long before severe deterioration happened. That's why certain oils, wines, seeds, fruits, and medicinal plants appear repeatedly throughout scripture and ancient medicinal traditions. Not randomly, repeatedly. In Isaiah 1:6, wounds are described as being soothed with oil. In Luke 10:34, the Good Samaritan pours oil and wine onto wounds for healing. And in Ezekiel 47:12, healing plants are described this way. Their fruit will serve for food, and their leaves for healing. That tells you something important. The biblical world did not separate healing from daily life the way modern culture often does. This wasn't lost knowledge. It was interrupted knowledge. They didn't remove the remedies. They removed the relationship people had with them. And now, modern science is slowly rediscovering many of the same patterns ancient people observed through generations of use. So as we go through these remedies, pay attention to something deeper than the ingredients themselves. Pay attention to the systems around them, because that's where the real wisdom lived. Let's start with one of the most valuable medicinal substances in the ancient world: myrrh. Most people recognize it as one of the gifts brought to Jesus in Matthew chapter 2 verse 11. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh. But in the ancient world, myrrh wasn't simply symbolic. It was medicinal. Rare, expensive, carefully traded across long desert routes, stored like treasure inside ancient apothecaries. And one of its most respected uses involved pain, swelling, and inflammation. Ancient healers commonly infused crushed myrrh resin into warmed oils. At night, those oils would be massaged into swollen knees, stiff hands, aching backs, and inflamed joints. Not once, repeatedly. That matters. Because ancient healing systems depended heavily on consistency. They didn't wait for severe breakdown before using supportive remedies. They built routines around them. And modern science is beginning to understand why myrrh became so respected. Researchers studying compounds inside myrrh have explored their relationship to inflammatory pathways and oxidative stress inside the body. The ancient world didn't understand molecular biology, but they understood patterns. When something consistently reduced swelling, discomfort, and stiffness across generations, they continued refining its use. That's not superstition. That's observation accumulated over centuries. And here's the deeper insight most people miss. Myrrh was never treated like a quick fix. Healing was woven into everyday rhythms. Oils, massage, rest, repeated care. That's the difference between using a remedy and building a life around one.
But the next remedy may be even more surprising. Because today, most people barely recognize it as medicinal at all, even though ancient healers considered it one of the most important strengthening seeds in their world. Black cumin seed has been valued across Middle Eastern and ancient medicinal traditions for thousands of years. Tiny seeds, massive reputation. In ancient marketplaces, healers and traders carried them alongside oils, herbs, and restorative mixtures designed to support the body during weakness, swelling, and chronic pain. And unlike modern supplement culture, black cumin seed wasn't viewed as a temporary intervention. It was viewed as maintenance, daily support. Ancient people often mixed the seeds into breads, oils, crushed pastes, and simple meals eaten consistently over long periods of time. Not dramatic, not extreme, consistent. That pattern matters because chronic inflammation rarely develops overnight. And ancient cultures understood that slow deterioration often required slow, steady support. Modern research on black cumin seed, particularly compounds like thymoquinone, is now exploring its relationship to inflammation regulation, oxidative stress, and immune balance. Again, the language changed, but the pattern stayed the same. Ancient healers observed outcomes long before modern science understood mechanisms. And here's what makes this especially important today. The ancient world didn't always separate food from medicine. Sometimes, the most powerful support systems were the foods quietly consumed every single day. They didn't use this occasionally. They built life around it. And over time, that changes the body differently than temporary intervention ever could. So now you've seen one remedy used externally through oils and repeated care, and another used internally as daily foundational support. But the final remedy may be the most overlooked of all, because today, almost nobody thinks of it as a healing food anymore, even though ancient cultures connected it directly to vitality, circulation, and long-term resilience. Pomegranate appears throughout scripture as a symbol of life, abundance, and restoration. It decorated priestly garments in Exodus. It appeared throughout Solomon's temple, and across the ancient world, it became associated with vitality and strength. But beyond symbolism, pomegranate was deeply respected as a practical healing food.
Ancient healers used the fruit, juice, rind, and extracts in restorative preparations connected to circulation, inflammation, and physical resilience. Some ancient preparations even involved slowly reducing pomegranate juice into concentrated syrups used during periods of weakness and recovery. Again, not randomly, repeatedly. And modern research now shows pomegranate contains powerful antioxidant compounds and polyphenols associated with inflammatory balance and oxidative stress reduction. Once again, the same pattern appears. What ancient people observed through generations of repeated use, modern science is beginning to understand chemically. But here's the deeper lesson. Pomegranate wasn't isolated into trendy powders or capsules. It existed inside an entire way of living. Ancient people ate closer to the earth, closer to seasons, closer to natural rhythms. Less processed oil, less sugar overload, more movement, more consistency. That context matters because healing systems work differently than emergency interventions. They weren't chasing symptoms, they were building resilience into the body itself. And over years, that changes everything. So step back and look at the pattern. Myrrh, external support for swelling, pain, and inflamed joints. Black Cumin Seed, daily foundational support for balance and long-term resilience. Pomegranate, internal nourishment connected to circulation and inflammatory health. Different remedies, same philosophy. Consistent use, long-term thinking, system-based healing, and most importantly, none of these disappeared because they failed. The relationship people had with them slowly disappeared. That's why this rediscovery feels so powerful right now. Because many people are realizing ancient cultures may have understood more about daily healing rhythms than we assumed. Not perfectly, but meaningfully. And that's really what this channel is about. Recovering wisdom that was once common, then slowly faded from everyday life. Not to reject modern medicine, but to reconnect with practical patterns people used for thousands of years alongside the care available to them. Because modern science is increasingly confirming something fascinating. Many ancient healing traditions were built on observations that still hold value today. The knowledge wasn't erased, it just stopped being passed down. If this video helped you see these biblical remedies differently, subscribe to Design to Heal. Next video, we're uncovering what ancient healers actually used for blood sugar support, and why one forgotten biblical food may be far more important than most people realize. I'll see you there.